My name is Kate. I am 27 years old. I work in a large office building in the city. I have worked in this company for almost 3 years. I work in the same team as a man named John. He is tall and smart. He is kind to everyone. He smiles all the time, and he makes me smile too. We started working here at the same time, so we have known each other for 2 years. We are good friends at work. We talk about our jobs, our families, and our weekend plans. But I have a secret. I like John more than a friend. This feeling came very fast when we first met. I think about him when I am at home. I want to tell him how I feel, but I am scared. I do not want to lose our friendship because it is important to me. Every morning we drink coffee together in the office kitchen. We talk about simple things like the news or our new tasks. I smile a lot when he is near. I laugh at his jokes, even when they are not very funny. I listen carefully when he talks. I try to act calm. I pretend he is only a coworker, not the man I think about every night. It is hard to hide my feelings. My heart sometimes beats fast when he stands close. I look at him when he works and I think, I wish he knew my secret. I wish he liked me too. Every day when work ends, we walk together to the bus stop. It is a short walk, but it is my favorite part of the day. I want to hold his hand, but I do not do it. I talk about the weather or the street noise. I keep my feelings inside me. I stay quiet because I do not want to lose him. I worry that I will never tell him the truth. I worry that he will never see me as more than a friend. This is my life now. I work next to the man I love, and I act like everything is normal. I hope that one day he will understand my feelings, even if I say nothing. One evening, work finished, and we walked to the lift. We stepped inside together. We were the only 2 people. The space felt small and quiet. I felt nervous because he stood close to me. I looked at the floor numbers to stay calm. Then the lights went off and the lift stopped at once. There was a loud sound, and then it became dark and silent. I felt scared because I do not like small spaces. I held John's arm quickly. I needed to feel safe. John spoke in a soft, calm voice and said, "Do not worry, Kate. I am here. It is only a small power problem." His voice helped me feel better. We knew we had to wait for help. We sat on the cold floor to rest. We started to talk. We talked about our families and our childhoods. We talked about the places where we grew up. We talked about our dreams. We talked for a long time, maybe 2 hours. The time passed fast. I laughed a lot. I learned new things about him. I felt close to him in a new way. The dark lift made it easy to talk. Then John stopped talking. He looked at me in the dark. I felt his eyes on my face. He moved a little closer. My heart beat fast. I waited for him to speak, but he said nothing. Then he kissed me. I was surprised and did not move at first. I wanted the kiss, but I did not expect it. My mind was full of questions, but my heart felt warm. At that moment, the lift doors opened. Bright white light came inside. People were standing outside and looking at us. We stood up fast. My face felt hot and my hands shook. We walked out quickly. We did not talk about the kiss. We acted like nothing happened, but inside I knew everything felt different. The next days at work felt strange. We looked at each other many times and smiled. We did not speak about the kiss, but I remembered it again and again. When I saw him, I felt warm and shy. I wanted to know if he felt the same. One afternoon, I was near the stairs. It was a quiet place. John came there and stopped near me. He looked at me with the same deep eyes from the lift. I felt nervous and excited. He touched my hand very softly. His touch was gentle and warm. "Kate," he said in a low voice, "I want to kiss you again." I could not speak. He moved closer and kissed me. It was a soft kiss at first. Then another kiss came, longer than the first. It felt special and strong. We had to be careful because we were at work. We did not want anyone to see us, so we kept it a secret. This kiss started a new part of our days. We looked for small, quiet places in the office. We kissed behind a door when no one was near. We kissed near the supply room when the hallway was empty. Sometimes it was only 30 seconds. Sometimes it was 1 minute. But every moment felt important. We still acted normal in front of other people. We talked about work like before. But inside, we shared a big secret. I liked him more every day. His soft voice, his warm smile, and his gentle touch made me feel happy. I did not want our secret to end. I wanted more time with him. I wanted more quiet places and more short kisses. Our story started in the dark lift, and now it stayed in my mind all the time. Before I continue rest of the story, please like, subscribe, share, and tell me where you are listening from. Your support means a lot to me. Now let's continue. The days after our secret kisses felt exciting but also difficult. I tried to act normal at work, but it was hard. When I saw John across the office, I remembered the kiss in the lift and the kiss near the stairs. I tried to focus on my work, but my mind went back to him again and again. I wanted to hold his hand in the office, but I knew I could not. We had to hide everything. We looked for small places where no one walked. Sometimes we met behind the meeting room door. Sometimes we waited for a quiet moment near the supply room. Sometimes we stayed late when the office was almost empty. We kissed quickly because we did not want anyone to see us. These short moments felt warm and strong, even if they were only a few seconds. I felt happy every time he touched my hand. I felt happy when he smiled at me in a quiet hallway. Every secret moment felt important, but the hiding also made me feel nervous. We had to watch the hallways and listen for people. If someone walked near us, we moved away fast. At work, we talked like normal coworkers. We talked about files, reports, and new tasks. We used calm voices and simple words. We did not smile too much, because that would look strange to other people. I felt tired from pretending everything was normal when nothing was normal inside my heart. One day, John asked me to come to his home for dinner. I did not expect this. My hands felt warm and my face felt red when he asked. I said yes right away. I thought about the dinner all day. I wanted everything to feel nice and simple. I bought a new dress. I wanted him to see me as more than a coworker. When work ended, I went to his apartment. He opened the door and smiled. His smile looked soft and warm. His home was small and clean. A few candles were on the table. The air smelled good because he cooked dinner. We sat at the table and talked. We laughed more than we did in the office. I felt calm in his home. It was different from the secret places in the office. We did not have to hide here. We could sit close and talk without fear. After dinner, we sat on the couch. The room was quiet and the lights were low. John looked at me for a long moment. Then he moved close and kissed me again. The kiss was slow and warm. We kissed many times. We did not have to rush. It felt like a real date, not a secret moment. We talked late into the night. I stayed at his home because I felt safe with him. When I woke up in the morning, I felt happy, but I also felt worry in my mind. At work, no one knew about us. We were hiding a big part of our lives. We were lying to our coworkers. We were lying to our boss. I felt unsure about this. I did not want to lose my job. I needed my job. But I also did not want to lose John. I liked him too much to walk away. A week passed. One morning, I came to the office and opened my email. I saw a message from the Human Resources office. The email asked John and me to come to a meeting at 10. My hands felt cold. I felt scared because I knew this was not normal. I thought about our secret kisses. I thought about the night at his home. I worried that someone saw us. John walked to my desk a few minutes later. His face looked serious. He did not smile. He said nothing, but I could see he was worried too. We walked to the HR office. The hallway felt long and silent. I felt tense. I looked at John and he gave my hand a quick squeeze. Then we let go because someone was walking behind us. We reached the HR office. The manager, Mrs. Green, sat behind her desk. She did not smile. Her face looked strict. John and I sat down. Mrs. Bull, Green closed the door. Then she looked at us for a long moment. My heart beat fast because I knew what was coming. "We know about your relationship," she said. Her voice was calm but strong. Her words felt heavy. I felt cold all over. Mrs. Green continued speaking. "Someone told the company, we cannot allow co-workers to date. It is a rule. Only married couples can work together here." I could not say a word. I felt afraid. I did not want to lose my job. I needed my job to pay my rent and my bills. I also did not want to lose John. I looked at him. He looked sad and angry at the same time. Mrs. Green said we had to make a choice. We had to end our relationship at once, or both leave our jobs. We stood up and walked out of the office. My hands shook as I left the room. Outside the office door, John and I held hands for a short moment. We walked away in silence. That day, we had to follow the rule. We had to act like our relationship was over. We did not talk. We did not smile. We did not touch. We kept our distance. Our secret story had to stop. The next days were very hard. We went back to being normal co-workers. We walked past each other without a smile. We sat in meetings and said nothing to each other. He did not stop at my desk anymore. I missed our small talks over coffee. I missed the quiet jokes and soft smiles. The office felt cold and empty now. When I went home after work, I sat alone in my apartment. I waited for a message from him, but my phone stayed silent. I wanted to call him, but I knew I could not. We agreed to stop everything to keep our jobs. I felt lonely and unsure. I wondered if our secret moments were important to him, or if they only felt important to me. Every day felt long and quiet. I cried at night because I felt hurt. I felt forgotten. I felt like our story was falling apart. I did not know what he was thinking. I did not know if he still wanted me or if he had already accepted the new rule. The silence grew day by day. I was scared of losing him. I was scared of losing my job. I did not know what to do. I only knew my days no longer felt bright. I missed him every hour. I missed the lift, the quiet kisses, and the late dinner at his home. I wanted to talk to him again, but I had no idea what tomorrow would bring. The next evening, I sat in my apartment and tried to read a book, but I could not focus. The quiet felt heavy. I looked at my phone again and again, but there was no message from John. I felt tired and sad. I wanted things to be simple again, but nothing felt simple now. I closed my eyes and tried to rest, but then I heard a fast, loud knock on my door. I stood up quickly. I did not expect anyone. I walked to the door and looked through the small hole. My breath stopped for a moment because I saw John standing there. He looked serious, but also warm. I opened the door. He stepped inside without waiting, and he looked only at me. "Kate," he said in a soft but strong voice, "I cannot live like this. I cannot stay away from you." His words came fast, as if he held them inside for many days. He took a step closer. His eyes looked full of care. "I want to be with you every day," he said. "Not in small places. Not in secret. Not like this." I felt tears in my eyes. I wanted to say his name, but the words did not come. I felt scared because the company rule was still there. I whispered, "We will lose our jobs. We cannot break the rule. We agreed to stop." John shook his head. He looked sure of his plan. "I do not care about the rule," he said. "I care about you." He held both of my hands. His hands were warm. He looked into my eyes without looking away. "We need a way to stay together without breaking anything," he said. He stood quiet for a short moment, and I saw he was thinking. Then he slowly went down on one knee. I gasped because I did not expect this. He reached into his jacket and took out a small, dark box. He opened it. A simple, pretty ring shone inside the box. "Kate," he said, "will you marry me?" His voice shook a little, but it was full of love. "If we are married, the company cannot stop us. Married couples can work together. We do not have to hide. We do not have to give up our jobs. I want a real life with you." My tears fell fast. I felt warm and safe. I felt sure of my answer. I said, "Yes, John. Yes, I will marry you." I went down to hug him. He held me tight and did not let go. I felt happy for the first time in many days. The silence between us was gone. We were not hiding anymore. We had a plan. The next morning, we walked into the office together. We held hands when no one was looking, but we let go before we reached the HR office. We knocked and walked inside. Mrs. Green looked at us with surprise. She did not expect to see us together again. John spoke first. His voice was clear. "We are engaged," he said. "We plan to get married." He looked calm and sure. Mrs. Green opened the rule book on her desk. She read it for a moment. Then she looked up at us. Her face slowly softened. "The rule says only married couples can work together," she said. "You are not married yet, but you have a clear plan to be married. Congratulations." She smiled for the first time. "You may keep your jobs." I felt a wave of relief. I thanked her many times. John thanked her too. We walked out of the HR office and then out of the building. When we reached the street, we smiled at each other. We stood close because we did not have to hide anymore. Our secret was finished. Our story was now real. As we walked, I thought about the past weeks. I thought about the lift that stopped in the dark. I thought about the first kiss. I thought about the quiet corners in the office. I thought about the dinner at his home. I thought about the long days of silence and fear. All those moments brought us here. John held my hand again. I looked at him. He was the same man I liked on the first day of work. He was kind, calm, warm, and sure. But now he was also my future. I felt ready for the next part of our life. I felt ready to make our story open and true. Our love began in a strange place. It began in a dark lift. It grew in quiet hallways and small hidden places. It was a secret for many days, but now it was a promise. Now it was safe. Now it belonged to us. I knew this love was real. I chose it. I chose him. And I knew I would choose this love again and again, no matter where it started. Thank you for listening to this story. If you enjoyed this story, please like the video and subscribe to English Medium Stories. Stay with us for more classic stories in easy English. My name is Helen. I am a quiet woman, and I do not talk much about my past. People in the village think I am strange. They talk about me and my little boy. They say I am proud and cold. But they do not know my story. They do not know why I came to Wildfell Hall. Wildfell Hall is an old, dark house on the edge of the village. It is large but cold, and the wind makes strange sounds at night. When I first came here, I wanted peace. I wanted a safe place for my son, Arthur. He is only 5 years old. He has soft brown hair and bright eyes. He is my reason to live. I did not come to Wildfell Hall to make friends. I only wanted to paint and care for my child. I paint pictures of nature. It helps me forget the pain of my old life. I sell my paintings to earn money for food and clothes. It is not easy, but I am free. The people in the village did not understand me. They had never seen a woman live alone with a small child. Some women whispered about me when I passed by. Some said I ran away from my husband. Others said I was not married at all. I did not explain anything. I only smiled and went home. One man, Gilbert Markham, lived near my house. He was a farmer. He often passed by and said hello. He was kind and curious. At first, I did not speak much to him, but he was friendly to my son, and soon he began to visit us. He brought books for me and small gifts for Arthur. Gilbert liked to talk, and he asked many questions. He wanted to know why I lived alone. I told him little. I said only that my husband was far away and that I did not wish to speak about him. Gilbert did not press me. He saw that it made me sad. Over time, we became friends. Gilbert was gentle and honest. He liked my paintings and said they were beautiful. When he visited, I felt a little less lonely. Arthur also liked him. Sometimes they played outside while I painted by the window. I liked to see them together. But people in the village began to notice Gilbert's visits. They started to gossip again. They said it was wrong for a young man to visit a woman who lived alone. Some said I was trying to steal him from another girl. I felt hurt but stayed silent. I had learned that silence keeps peace, even when people are cruel. One evening, Gilbert came to see me when the rain was heavy. He was wet and tired, but he wanted to talk. He said, "Helen, I do not care what people say. I only want to know you better." I looked at him for a long time. I wanted to trust him, but I was afraid. My heart had been broken once before. I could not let it happen again. That night, after he left, I could not sleep. I thought about my past. I thought about my husband, Arthur Huntingdon. When I married him, I was young and full of dreams. He was handsome, charming, and full of life. Everyone liked him. I thought he was kind and good. I thought I would be happy forever. But I was wrong. In the beginning, our life was sweet. We laughed, we danced, we talked about our future. He called me his angel and said he would love me forever. I believed him. I left my home and family to be with him. My aunt told me to be careful, but I did not listen. I thought love was enough. After some time, I began to see a change in my husband. He started to drink too much wine. He went out with friends who laughed at me and at my quiet ways. They said I was too serious. My husband stopped listening to me. He stayed out late and came home drunk. At first, I hoped it would pass. I thought he was just young and wild, but it became worse. He spent money carelessly. He invited bad friends to our house. They drank all night and said things that made me blush. I stayed in my room with my baby, trying to keep him safe. When my husband came home drunk, he sometimes shouted at me. Other times he laughed and ignored me. My heart began to grow cold. I tried to help him. I begged him to stop drinking and to think about his son. I told him Arthur needed a good father, but he only laughed. He said, "You are too serious, Helen. Life is for pleasure." He did not see the pain he caused. Years passed, and his bad habits grew stronger. He started to be cruel, not only to me, but to others. He taught our little boy to drink wine just for fun. When I saw that, I felt my heart break. I could not let him destroy our child. I knew I had to leave. But in those days, a woman could not easily leave her husband. The law did not protect her. I prayed every night for help. I asked God for strength and wisdom. Then, one night, when my husband was away, I made a plan. I would take my son and leave. I would find a quiet place where no one knew me. I would earn my living by painting. We would live in peace, even if we were poor. When the chance came, I left before dawn. I took only what I needed: my paints, my brushes, and my child. I looked back at the big house once more and whispered goodbye. It was not my home anymore. It was a prison I had escaped. When I arrived at Wildfell Hall, it was empty and old, but it felt safe. The walls were gray, the air was cold, but I was free. My son laughed and ran around the dusty rooms. I smiled through my tears. It was not a grand place, but it was ours. And that is how I came to this lonely house on the hill. People think I am strange. They think I am proud. But they do not know that every day I wake up with one thought: to give my son a better life than the one I had. And now, as I look at the world outside my window, I wonder if peace will last. I wonder if the truth of my past will stay hidden, or will someone, maybe Gilbert, force me to open my heart again. Before I continue rest of the story, please like, subscribe, share, and tell me where you are listening from. Your support means a lot to me. Now let's continue. Days passed quietly at Wildfell Hall. I painted, I taught my son, and I tried to forget my past, but Gilbert came often. He brought small gifts for Arthur and sat near the fire while I painted. I liked his calm voice and his kind eyes. He never judged me, and that made me feel safe. One day, he came with a letter in his hand. He looked upset. He said, "People in the village talk about you again. They say you are hiding something. They say your husband is dead. I stopped painting. I looked at him and said quietly, "My husband is not dead." His eyes widened, but I did not say more. He wanted to ask questions, but he saw that I was tired. He left soon after, and I sat alone for a long time. I knew people would never stop talking. I had to tell Gilbert the truth before lies became stronger than the truth itself. A few days later, I sent him a note. I wrote, "Please come tomorrow. I will tell you everything. You will then understand who I am." The next day the sky was gray and rain fell slowly. Gilbert came, quiet and serious. I gave him a small book, my diary. "Read this," I said. "Then you will know the truth about my life." He looked at me with surprise. "You trust me with this?" he asked. I said, "Yes, but promise you will not tell anyone." He promised, and I began to speak. I told him how I first met my husband, Arthur Huntingdon. I was young, only 18. He was handsome, full of charm and energy. Everyone liked him. My aunt did not trust him. She said, "He is not a good man. He will break your heart." But I did not listen. I thought I could change him with my love. I believed that love could fix everything. When we married, I was happy. For the first few months, he was gentle and fun. We went riding and dancing. He made me laugh. I thought he was perfect. But slowly, I began to see his true nature. He liked drinking, gambling, and laughing at people. He had friends who were rude and careless. I did not like them, but he said, "They are just having fun. Don't worry so much." As time passed, he spent more time with his friends than with me. He came home late at night. Sometimes he was drunk. When I asked him to stop, he laughed and said, "You are too serious, Helen. Don't be boring." I felt lonely even when he was beside me. When our son was born, I hoped things would change. I thought a child might help him grow up. For a short time, he seemed happy. He said, "Now I have a son to carry my name." But soon he became restless again. He drank more, shouted more, and treated me like a stranger. He did not care about our son. Sometimes he would make fun of me when I tried to teach Arthur good manners. One day, I saw him giving wine to our little boy. He said, "He must learn to drink like a man." I took the glass away, but my husband laughed and said, "You cannot stop me. He is my son." I felt a sharp pain in my heart. That was the day I began to lose all hope. His friends often came to the house. They drank and sang loudly. I stayed in my room with Arthur, trying to keep him away from their noise and bad words. Sometimes I heard them talk about me and laugh. It hurt, but I stayed quiet. I thought patience might help, but it did not. Then came the worst part. My husband started to flirt with another woman, Lady Lowborough. She was beautiful but cruel. She liked to see men fight for her. I saw how they looked at each other when they met. One evening, I walked into the room and saw him holding her hand. My body froze. I could not speak. He smiled as if nothing was wrong. Later, when I asked him about it, he said, "Don't be jealous. You imagine things." I wanted to leave, but I had no money and nowhere to go. The law said a wife belonged to her husband. I could not take my child without his permission. I felt trapped. I prayed every night for a way out. Then something changed. One of his friends, Mr. Hargrave, came to visit often. He was quiet and polite. He saw how unhappy I was. One day he said, "If you ever need help, call me." I thanked him, but I did not trust him fully. Later, he showed his true face. He said he loved me and wanted me to run away with him. I was shocked and angry. I said, "Never speak to me like that again." From that day, I avoided him too. I realized I could not depend on anyone. I had to find my own strength. I started to paint again. I sold some paintings secretly through a friend in the city. I saved every small coin. I knew one day I would need that money to escape. One night, my husband came home drunk and angry. He shouted at me, threw my books, and broke my paints. He said, "You think you are better than me, but you are nothing without my name." I cried all night. In the morning, I looked at my son sleeping beside me and made a promise. I would not let this man destroy us. After some months, he became very ill. His face was pale, and his hands shook. The doctor said he had hurt his body with drink. I cared for him, though my heart was tired. He said sorry many times, but I did not believe his words anymore. He was weak, but he had not changed. When he got better, he went back to his old life. I knew it was time to act. One day, when he left for a hunting trip, I packed my things quietly. I took my paints, my son, and a little money. We left before sunrise. I felt free but afraid. I did not know what the future would bring. I went to a small town far away. No one knew me there. I found an empty house called Wildfell Hall. The walls were broken and the windows were old, but it was safe. I used my saved money to fix it. I began to paint again and sold my work to earn a living. Slowly, I built a new life for my son and me. When I finished telling this story, Gilbert sat in silence. His eyes were full of sadness. He said, "Helen, you are brave. I did not know you suffered so much." I smiled weakly. "Now you know why I cannot let people get too close. My heart is still healing," he said softly. "I will not hurt you. I only wish you peace." His words were kind, but I knew peace was hard to find. The past always finds a way to follow us. The next weeks were calm. Gilbert kept my secret. He still visited, but less often, because he respected my wish for space. But one morning, a letter came. The handwriting made my hands shake. It was from my husband. He wrote, "I am very ill. Please come back. I cannot live alone. I need you. My heart felt heavy. I did not love him anymore, but I could not forget that he was the father of my child. I looked at my little boy and thought of his future. I knew I had to make a choice. I closed my eyes and whispered, "I will go back once more." The letter from my husband stayed in my hand for a long time. I could not stop reading it. The words were weak and full of fear. "Helen, I am dying. Please forgive me. Please come back." For many minutes I sat in silence. I looked at my son. He was playing with his small wooden horse. He was happy and safe. I thought about what I should do. My heart was tired, but I knew what was right. I had once promised to love and care for my husband. Even if he had broken my heart, I could not turn away from a dying man. That night, I prayed. I asked for strength and courage. In the morning, I packed my things again. I told my little boy, "We are going on a journey." He smiled. He did not understand why. We traveled for 2 days to my husband's big house. When I saw it again, my heart felt heavy. The windows were dark and the garden was wild. The place looked empty and sad. I walked inside, holding my son's hand. A servant met us at the door. He looked surprised. "Madam," he said softly, "the master is very weak. He has waited for you every day." I followed him upstairs. My husband was lying in bed. His face was pale, and his eyes looked tired. When he saw me, tears came to his eyes. "Helen," he whispered, "you came." I said, "Yes, Arthur, I came." He tried to smile, but he was too weak. "I was cruel to you," he said. "I was blind and foolish. You were right, and I was wrong. I drank too much. I hurt you. Please forgive me." I looked at him for a long time. I felt sadness, but not hate. "I forgave you a long time ago," I said quietly. He closed his eyes. "I don't deserve it," he whispered. For many days, I stayed by his side. I gave him medicine, helped him sit up, and read to him when he could not sleep. He was often in pain, but he tried to be gentle. Sometimes he cried when he saw our son. "He looks like you," he said. "Promise me, Helen, you will teach him to be good." I said, "I promise." At night, I sat beside his bed, listening to the wind. I remembered the happy times before everything went wrong, when we were young and full of dreams. Life had changed us both. I no longer loved him as a wife loves her husband, but I pitied him deeply. One cold morning, he called my name. I went to his side. His face was calm now. "Helen," he said, "I see now how empty my life was. You were the only one who truly cared. I thank you." He took my hand and held it tight. Then his eyes closed. He took one last breath and was gone. I felt no anger, only sadness and peace. I kissed his forehead and whispered, "Rest now. Your pain is over. After the funeral, I decided to stay a few more weeks to put things in order. I sold some of his things to pay his debts and saved the rest for Arthur's future. When everything was done, I went back to Wildfell Hall. The house looked the same, gray, old, and quiet, but now it felt different. I was not hiding anymore. I was free, not just in body, but in heart. I had done my duty. The past was behind me. For many months, I lived alone again. I painted every day and watched my son grow. He was strong and cheerful. Sometimes we walked to the hills and watched the sunset. I felt peace for the first time in years. But I often thought of Gilbert. After I left, I did not write to him. I thought it was better that way. I believed he would forget me and find someone else. Still, some nights I looked out the window and wondered if he still thought of me. One spring morning, as I walked in the garden, I saw a man coming up the path. My heart began to beat fast. It was Gilbert. He looked older, but his smile was the same. "Helen," he said softly, "I did not know if I should come, but I had to see you once more." I did not speak at first. Then I said, "You should not have come. People will talk again." He shook his head. "I don't care what they say. I only came to ask one thing. Are you happy now?" I looked at him for a long time. "I am peaceful," I said. "That is enough." He smiled sadly. "I am glad. I have waited many months to hear that." We talked for a while. He told me about his work and his family. I saw how kind and honest he still was. When he stood to leave, he said, "If you ever need a friend, you know where to find me." I thanked him. After he left, I felt something warm in my heart. I thought perhaps this was not the end of our story. Time passed. The seasons changed. My son grew taller and brighter every day. I taught him to be gentle and good. We worked in the garden, painted together, and read books in the evening. Then one day, I received a letter. It was from Gilbert. He wrote, "Helen, I will be near your town next month. May I visit?" I smiled as I read it. My heart said yes before my hand wrote the word. When he came, it was summer. The garden was full of flowers. We walked under the trees and talked about life. There was no fear now, no secrets. I told him that my heart was free. He took my hand and said, "Then let me be the one to keep it safe." I felt tears in my eyes, but they were not sad tears. For the first time in many years, I felt love that was calm and pure. A few months later, we married quietly in the same small church near the village. There were no grand clothes or music, only peace, sunshine, and truth. My son stood beside us and smiled. When we walked out of the church, the wind was soft and the fields were green. Gilbert looked at me and said, "You are home now, Helen." And he was right. My long, hard journey had finally ended. I had known pain, fear, and loneliness, but I had also found strength, faith, and love that did not hurt. Life at Wildfell Hall had begun with silence and sorrow, but it ended with hope. I had once run from my past, but now I faced the future with courage. This is my story. The story of a woman who learned that freedom and respect are worth more than comfort and gold, and that love, when it is honest and kind, can heal even the deepest wounds.